Welcome to the Conquer Food podcast with Craig and Paula Williams, where we share tips, tricks and strategies from the coalface of the weight loss industry in the UK. We're going to help you to think, eat and move better. Ultimately, we're going to help you finally gain control and conquer food. Hey up, how's it going?
It's going good. I didn't realise you were starting that quickly. You caught me a bit unawares.
We've got this is it's been a while, hasn't it, since we've done a podcast together, just me and you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
A little bit of togetherness, Craig.
Yeah, it's what everybody needs right now whilst we're on lockdown and in quarantine. Okay, so I've got a particular topic I want to talk about today. Before that, I want to kind of just set it up a little bit. So it's obvious that when when COVID-19 broke out, the country sort of went into a bit of disruption, and people became scared. People became a little bit worried and anxious about what their future would hold, and then to top it all off, we then got kind of locked up, and our freedom, our ability to move around was then hindered. So we've got a load of people that are emotional for lots of different reasons, stuck at home. And I read a great quote yesterday, which is, when you're sad or you're bored, don't make the fridge your happy place. And Paula, that's kind of what I want to talk about first of all. So can you talk to me a little bit about it? Has there been a time when the fridge has been your happy place, and what was the consequences of that?
Actually, my fridge has been my happy place for the last 5 days. Without a shadow of a doubt. And last night I had to do some really strong kind of self-reflection, because I've been surrounding myself with really kind of positive things and listening to a lot of meditations, and realised that actually I'm not practicing any of the things that I'm learning, because as soon as I feel slightly worried, slightly anxious, slightly tense, the first thing I do is walk to our fridge. And our fridge at the moment, it looks like Christmas. It's full. And our fridge is never full. Ever, ever, ever full.
Well, I mean, we felt obliged, didn't we? Because we've got 2 sons with us, and then we've got a house guest staying with us as well in isolation. So we felt obliged that we should sort of top it up and fill it up and make sure there's food in. So yeah, that's why it's kind of topped up now. Yeah.
So enough's enough. Enough's enough. I started a gratitude journal 2 days ago, and in that journal, obviously, I go over the things that I'm grateful for and the things that I'm proud of. And I do, kind of reflections on the day. And the one thing that keeps popping up, or has popped up over the last 2 days, but for the last week, is I'm still going to the fridge. So actually, I'm still not nurturing myself in the way that I need to be nurtured. I'm still turning to food. So actually, my journey starts today on not making my fridge.
Well, what I want to do
happy place.
Yeah, I want to talk about like the drivers behind that. Yeah. I want to talk about the consequences of that, and what things you're going to kind of put in place to tackle that. Before that, I think it's good to remember that ultimately our results are dictated by not necessarily by what we do, but what we consistently do. It's like your consistent effort. Where is the momentum heading in your life? And, we're a good week into this lockdown now. It's enough time to start building up some momentum and some consistency in good habits and bad habits. So now really is the time for us to kind of all snap out of it and start basically, getting our shit together.
And that really is it. Craig, it is snap out of it. I'm always so conscious of how I deliver things and how I say things to people, being loving and everything else. But the reality is snap out of it, because at the end of this, we're not going to like what we find. This is a beautiful, in some respects, an opportunity to get to know ourselves and to create new habits in a safe environment. And you've got 2 choices. We're at a crossroads at the minute, and we either make the best of of the positive road, or we go down the shit road, and I'm not really quite happy about what I might find at the end of that one.
What kind of consequences have you noticed already? Just in the last sort of 7 to 8 days of fridge picking and that kind of thing.
Well, and I said this to the staff that we've got quarantining, with us at the moment. For me, the food, I go to the fridge to take the food to try and make myself feel better, but actually it doesn't. Sugary food is bad for my mental health, without a shadow of a doubt. And yesterday I could feel myself starting to go. And right now, I need to be stronger now than I've ever been, because we're in survival mode. We are. And so I need to turn survival mode, or not, I want to turn that mode into something positive and something creative, and see that what's happening now is an opportunity. And I'm not going to create the things that I want in my life. I'm not going to achieve the things I want in my life if my mental health is slowly, getting worse and worse by the day, and my thighs are getting fatter and fatter.
You mentioned thighs there. I mean, what are the physical consequences you've experienced, and what are the emotional consequences have you experienced? Well,
I'm just getting fatter. I'm getting fatter by the day. I actually am. And how many people listening to this are honest with themselves? Those of you that aren't, and you've already got some good plans in place, then bloody put your hands in the air, down over your shoulders, and give yourself a massive big pat on the back, because, we're up against a lot at the moment. And those of you that are getting fatter by the day, stop it. Just like me, stop it, because it's a road to,
Don't stop it. Start doing something else.
Yeah.
Because we need to concentrate on that, the positive route out of it, not necessarily what we're trying to change. Because, I mean, how many times we tried that, keep off the grass. All you want to do is stand on the grass,
exactly.
So, now is the time to start moving in a positive direction and building up some momentum and some consistency in some good quality stuff. So, all right. So we've agitated the pain a little bit there. Thighs are getting bigger. Belly's getting bigger, bum's getting bigger, clothes are getting tighter. What about things like sleep and your emotions?
My sleep's good. My sleep is always good, actually.
You are a bit of a dormouse.
I am a bit of a dormouse. I did a meditation last night, which was really beautiful, and it's called Who Am I? And I'm actually going to do one and post that for people to listen to if they want. And it was really powerful. Who am I? Who are you? It's a really big question. And I did that before I went to bed last night, and this morning when I woke up, I did a meditation to welcome the day, and to set the store for the day, which has really, really helped me. I've got really good plans for today.
You're already doing it because, let's be honest, these podcasts are not your favourite thing to do.
No.
but you volunteered, you agreed to do it, and here we are. So you're already kind of starting to follow through on the intentions that you set today. So what steps have you put into place then, Paula, to get you out of the fridge and into something else? I mean, are you gonna try and swap that habit for something else?
Yeah, absolutely. I think yesterday was a day of who do I want to be? What do I want from my life? Yesterday was not at all about, oh my God, I'm scared. What if I get coronavirus? What if my business, can't survive this? What am I going to, it wasn't about any of that. It was about, what do I want? Who do I want to be? Who is Paula? And I did some meditation on that. I did some reflections on that. I did some writing on that. And last night before I went to bed, I put that into practice. I came up with a plan. I literally closed my eyes last night and imagined the life that I really would want for myself. And I started off by writing, if I was truly honest, truly honest with what I want out of my life and who I want to be, what does it look like? And I did that. And then at the end of it, I kind of, it was, what do I need to do? What needs to happen in order to make that real? So
just to sort of summarize that then, you in effect, you've created a vision in the future and a goal, if you like, and then now you've gone, right, okay, so that's where the goal is. This is where I am right now, and these are the steps that I need to get to work towards that. Yeah. And what are like your immediate things that you're going to work on?
So my immediate thing is my health.
Yeah.
Because, and we all know this, health is wealth, to go the old saying. I will not be able to achieve any of the things I want to achieve if I am not healthy, and that's physically and emotionally. So the first thing I did when I got out of bed this morning after I'd done my meditation was to put my training gear on, which was very dusty. I have to say, I went downstairs and faced my husband with all my cellulite on show and said, take a picture of me. So, today is the day that I become a healthy person. So I took the dogs for a walk first thing in the morning. I'm going to train with you in a short time. It doesn't matter if my training isn't how it was at one point. Today, if I train, I will have moved more than I did yesterday. So that's the most, that's a key thing.
Small steps then.
Yeah, really, really small, achievable steps. And I plan to celebrate them at the end of every day and tell myself how amazing I are and how I'm one day closer to achieving and manifesting the life that I want.
Yeah. How will you know, if you get to the end of today, how will you know that today has been a success?
Today's already been a success.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I got out of bed feeling good and feeling positive. I faced some fears this morning. You and I had some really uncomfortable phone calls to make, which I'm sure people are having to do all over the country, and they were received with kindness, consideration, caring, love, and I'd been making myself feel sick about them for days. So that was successful. I did something that pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I'm here with you now. So yeah.
And if you meet a few bumps along the road, I mean, have you thought about how you're going to tackle that? And
yeah, I have. Well, one of the things that I reflected on yesterday was, okay, it's all good and well when you're feeling positive, but what happens when I feel negative? And I'm going to feel those emotions as well and accept that those emotions are there for a reason. So instead of becoming those emotions, I plan to be aware of them and to feel them, to experience those emotions for whatever reason, but understand that everything, emotions are energy and they're transient and they'll move through me and a different emotion will come. So my plan is to go with the energetic flow of life.
And what, just sort of sit and think about it now, and I'm just going to throw this question at you with, without any preparation or anything like that. What other positive byproducts are going to come from you getting your shit in one sock, like?
Me and you. I think there's a lot of women out here will identify with what I'm about to say. And I actually can't believe I'm about to say it. But I fancy my husband. I fancy him madly. And I often look at him and think, oh. And then the thought that follows that is, oh my God, how could he possibly fancy me? With my apron belly, my cellulite thighs, my knees the same size as my ankles. What is there to love? And
of course I do fancy you. You know that. And,
I wasn't fishing for that.
No, I know you weren't. But it's what I'm saying is it's in your head. It's a projection of your own thoughts, and it's how you're feeling right now. But these things are not always the truth. Like very, very often that they're not the truth at all.
No, and they dictate our lives. They have such a huge,
they're powerful. Yeah,
massively powerful. And so I kind of feel that for me, and I'm not saying that this is how it should be for everybody, but for me, I see what's happening to us at the minute as actually a pretty wonderful gift. And I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, because there are some terrible things and some terrible losses, and we have an incredibly vulnerable person in our family, and my stepson does as well. So, it is having huge effects on everybody. But I believe the gift that it's giving us is the gift of being able to pause and understanding that actually all of those material things that we have mean absolutely nothing. They don't define who we are at all. And I intend to take this opportunity to get to know myself, to find the strength that I believe is within all of us. But we spend so much of our lives living, reacting externally that we forget that inside we're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And incredibly strong. And I want to use that time to connect with that.
We've had a few questions in the past about like routines and, you know, whether routines would be a benefit, and, you know, because we're all kind of establishing new routines right now. You know what I mean? Our life's kind of been, the way I describe it is like a pack of cards where, you know, we have all the cards in order, and then COVID-19's come along and smash, it's knocked all these cards out of your hand. You've scrambled them all up together, but they're all out of order. So now it's a process of trying to work those priority cards up back towards the top. And, you know, what's your thoughts on a routine? Do you have a routine?
Yeah, I've put a routine into place. I mean, obviously, just like you said, my routine and how I lived my life before is completely different. So use this opportunity. I think it would be very easy for so many people to just roll out of bed in the morning, put your trackies on, go downstairs, have your breakfast, flick on the telly and stay there for the rest of the day. And that to me is just such a waste. Such a waste. I mean, I would suggest to anybody write a list, write your plan for the next day. And again, this is your biggest opportunity to be who you want to be. It's the biggest opportunity to say, okay, so what was happening in my life that wasn't really serving me very well? Now's the time to get rid of it, lose it, and become who you want to be. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Yeah, it definitely is the sort of the opportunity to plan and to, you know, and to think, right, okay, this is how things are going to change and how things are going to be different.
Yeah. Do you know the one thing that I've learned from all of this, because team does stress me out, and it did stress me out a lot, and sometimes I just want to run away from it. But you did that video the other day and it actually made me cry, because I love what we do up there in that big white house. And this has made me realise, I think you don't appreciate things until you're threatened with losing them, and then all of a sudden they become, whoa. And that house at the minute is meant to be filled with people. It's just upset when there's nobody in it. And I know you said in your video that we've only ever been closed for 7 weeks. But actually we've been closed, but we've filled it with our family over the Christmas festive time. So that house has never been without anyone. And at the minute, it's just awful. And I was thinking yesterday, what would life be like if we didn't have all those amazing people making massive differences to their life? What would happen? And it can't not happen. Because that's one of the things that I want to be. You know, that's the part of my life that I'm so comfortable and happy with, is just those people, their joy when they make a difference in their life. And you don't need to come right now to camp to do that. You can do that at home for yourself. Find your joy. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it a lot in the virtual boot camp stuff that we're doing right now, which obviously you've been doing your daily meditations and all that kind of stuff. The things that you're talking about now, I'm pretty sure people in the virtual boot camp would appreciate a bit more of an insight, or perhaps a little bit of guidance from you. I mean, what things can you do to get a bit of this and share it with people a little bit more in depth in this podcast, maybe?
Well, the first thing, and this is probably not answering your question straight away, but the first thing is I would really appreciate feedback from people as to what things they would like. If it's, you know, because people get so stuck on this, I've got to eat the right food, I've got to be training. But the key thing is your mindset. If your mindset isn't right, those two things go out of the window so easily. The most important thing is what's going on in your head. And I love that. So any questions from anybody, I will be more than happy to answer. One of my things that I'm trying to overcome at the minute is I'm a bit social media shy, and I have to battle with, are people really interested in what I've got to say? You know, that's one of my real self-esteem issues. So tell me what you want to hear, and I would be more than happy to share it.
Yeah. What's you talked about like your food and stuff like that. I mean, have you got a master plan? Have you got a strategy in regards to your food?
Yeah, I have.
You're not going to share it.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You don't have to share it if you don't. You know, if you want to keep it to yourself. And
no. I need to. I'm going to follow a keto diet. I just didn't know whether to say that because I know it's not what we do at camp.
Well, in some respects, in some respects it is. I mean, and you know, you say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I find a keto diet works really well for me is because it sorts my mental health out really, really quickly. And actually, there's a lot of research being done with regards to the correlation between the keto diet and mental health.
Keto diet.
A keto diet. Sorry,
This is a thing that we kind of, you know, when you look at a ketogenic diet. I mean, ketogenic is a state within the body, and the kind of nutrition that we provide at Team Bootcamp, along with the training, will put the majority of people into a ketogenic state, so they get all the benefits. Now, the problem is that, as with all diets and all nutrition plans, people hack it, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got people with bloody. You know,
dirty.
You can imagine,
dirty,
just fecked about with food that will, yes, it's going to put your body in a ketogenic state unless you're eating way too much of it, which is a classic. But nutritionally, it's still shit, you know? So, and this is the reason why instead of a ketogenic, it suggests it's a product with the capital letter. Keto is a state in the body, you know, and that's the ultimate goal, and you can do that through any food. You don't need a special kind of food. You just got to know how to put the meals together and all that kind of stuff. So that's the only kind of caveat
that you have with that. Well, anyway, there's big, huge correlation between a keto diet and mental health issues. I mean, I know it's used and advised and recommended in hospitals for people with Alzheimer's, people that have had brain surgery,
any kind of cancer. You know,
it's pretty cool. It helps me. It's not for everybody. Same as everything. It's not for everybody, and it's about finding what's right for you. But a keto diet is really good for me. So when my brain is clear, I find it a lot easier to be productive, and obviously to think well.
And well, not just that. I mean, as a knock on, like you don't tend to binge because your emotions are a lot more controlled. Your emotional eating is
all my cravings go.
Yeah,
I have no sugar cravings when I'm on a keto diet, none at all.
And how long from sort of kicking off and getting into a ketogenic state? That by the way, is it worth kind of explaining what it is?
It's probably better if it comes from you.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So basically, if you've not heard of it, most people have. But a ketogenic state within the body, basically, the body has got a couple of different energy sources that it can use. And what an energy source which is really, really easy for the body to use is sugars and forms of sugar, different forms of sugar. Now, and that kind of burns really quickly and gives us lots of energy. But we often because of that, because of the sugars present, we find it really hard to tap into our stored body fat to use that as energy. You know, it's just like it prefers to use that. But a much better source of energy is fat, and through eating we can create a state in the body where there's very little insulin going on, and there's very little sugar in the body. Therefore, we can tap into body fat as energy, and there's loads of other different kind of benefits. But at the stage, what the keto, not coming out well, but the ketogenic part of it is that the brain will only run on sugar. Fats are too big to get from the body brain link. You know, there's like a barrier there, and it's really hard for kind of fats to get through that. So what it does is it breaks down fat cells and releases ketogens, and these ketogens are a source of energy that can pass through the blood-brain barrier into the brain, and the brain can then use it as energy. So when they're present, we know we're in a particular state in the body. So yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve. It basically, it boils down to cutting out a lot of all refined sugars and natural sugars, and eating a high fat, moderate protein diet. And this is the issue when we're talking about like dirty keto as we call it in the house. People will go, right, they'll just go high shit fat. So things like, crappy dairy sauces and stuff like that, instead of like clean fat, or they'll go like really high protein. And that's different. High protein diet is not, people see it as like low sugar, therefore high protein, but it's not. It's higher fat, moderate protein, very, very limited sugars. Yeah. Kind of explain things a little bit.
It's definitely worth a little bit of research if you struggle emotionally, if you struggle with mental health issues, or are predisposed to depression. It really does help.
Well, also like polycystic ovary syndrome. There's just a ton of different stuff. Type 2 diabetes, insulin resistant. Just a load of stuff. Where have you got a recommended book that people can get?
Yeah, Dr. McCullough. What's the one with the big avocado on the front? What's it called?
Fat for Fuel.
Fat for Fuel is an amazing book. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a great starting point for anyone. So Fat for Fuel. I don't know what is happening with my mouth. As soon as I get in this little room, it's like it's too cold for my mouth to work. You get it on Amazon. Probably even get like a second-hand copy on eBay if you want to sort of save some money. But Fat for Fuel by Dr. McCullough. He's done a couple of books now. All are great, but he's pretty much an authority on a ketogenic diet. Okay, what else? What other stuff? Have you got any lifestyle things that you're putting into place, Paula? And
yeah, lots of lifestyle. Moving, move, Paula, because I am an advocate of a good old box set binge. So I'm battling with that at the minute, but I'm going to use this time. I am at my happiest when I am practicing my spirituality. There is no doubt about that. So I plan to do some online courses. I plan to meditate more than once a day because I'm very happy when I'm in that state. I'm just going to surround myself with knowledge and learn about the things that really, truly make me happy, so that when we come out of this the other side, I come out with a little bit more knowledge for coaching. I'm more connected and in touch with myself, which is really important. So my plan is my health in every aspect. So to eat more healthily, to move my body. I need to move my body, and to learn more. Knowledge is, what is it they say about knowledge? Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge dispels fear.
Yeah. I'm going to use this time to learn about the things that I love, connect with like-minded people online, which I'm not and haven't been very good at, but that doesn't mean that I can't become good at it. That's it. I'm excited.
If you had a call to action for anybody listening to this that have perhaps resonated with your story and gone, you know what, I'm exactly the same, what would you say to them now, just to give them a little bit of a kick up the backside and get them moving in the right direction?
I would say maybe do what I did yesterday evening, and that's kind of sit down on your own with a pen and paper, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what do I want? And if some people find that difficult, you can flip that over and say, what don't I want? Almost see this as a beautiful pause, a time to reflect. And when we come out of this the other end, what do I want to come out with, and what do I want to leave behind? And then you sit down and you say to yourself, okay, so what do I need to put in place in order to make this happen, in order to create this? And then I plan to do, and I can, again, feedback on this would be wonderful. I plan to do quite a lot of manifestations. So, and then what you do is when you've created what you want and who you want to be, then you bring it into your now. You become it now. You know, we don't put it in the future because the future always stays in the future. We bring what we want into our reality so that you know that when you wake up tomorrow, that's who you are. You have to do in order to become. And we have to do that now, not tomorrow, not the next day or the day after. We have to become it now, and we start displaying and playing out the behaviours of who we're becoming.
Amazing. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Conquer Food podcast with myself, Craig Williams, and my beautiful wife, Paula Williams, who, by the way, I do fancy immensely. If you've enjoyed this or you found it of benefit, then please consider subscribing on whatever platform you're listening to, whether it's YouTube, subscribe to us on their iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever it is. And also it'd be really handy if you could leave us a 5-star review, because it helps other people that are struggling find us. It helps us know that we're on the right track. And it also tells us what kind of content we need to be producing so that you get the very best of our expertise. Paula, just quickly, how much weight in tons is Team Bootcamp responsible for burning? Do you know?
I can't remember, no.
On the last count, it was 49 tons of body fat.
That is mental.
A lot of expertise.
Yeah. And there's a lot of hard work that's gone behind that.
Yeah, there's a lot of graft. Okay, so thanks again for listening, and join us again in the next episode of the Conquer Food Show. Take care. Say goodbye.
Bye. Bye.